Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mirror List Monday here on Eat Sleep List. My name is Matt Johnson, your host, and today, with Father's Day this upcoming Sunday, we are celebrating dads and father-like figures in our lives with the Father's Day list. Let's get to work. So just like I did for the Mother's Day episode, I want to start off this Father's Day list with personal Happy Father's Day wishes to a select group of people. Before that, though, I got to give a happy birthday wish to my little brother, Marcangelo. He's a great supporter of the show. He's donated a lot of props for our thumbnail photos, and every couple years his birthday just happens to land on Father's Day. So happy birthday to you, little brother. I love and appreciate you. But yeah, so happy Father's Day to the specifically to the following individuals, and of course everybody who watched this show. I appreciate each and every one of you. But happy Father's Day to my dad, who I'm not going to divulge too much in this little segment because he's going to be the subject matter for today's episode. My father-in-law, Rick, my cousins, Nico and Nicholas, as well as my brother-in-law, Michael, my grandfather, Papa Johnson, Uncle Rich and Uncle Angelo, and some of my best friends in life, Brian, Ryan, Justin, Brandon, Rich, DJ, Will, Andrew, Anthony, Moff, and Greg. Each and every one of you named are active individuals in my life. They're there when you're asked to be. And I love and appreciate each and every one of you for it. You, even if we don't see each other all the time, you inspire from afar. And it's been so nice to be involved in your lives and watch you all be and act as fathers. I get excited when I see my friends bragging about their kids, when I see cousins, bragging about their kids, anybody bragging about their kids, it's heartwarming for me. And for the longest time, while I was dreaming of becoming a father someday, I got to live vicariously through each and every single one of you, talking about fatherhood and how much it meant to you. My friend Moff at work all the time, talking about his son wrestling in college, which is always special, and I was always excited to see him pull out videos of and seeing his kid do really, really good. Some of my other friends just bragging about it, witnessing their kids' development and growing up, and it's been so fun to watch. So I really get delighted to be a part of that, and I'm thankful that you wish to divulge that information, the videos, the good times, the good advice with me. Seriously, happy Father's Day to each and every single one of you, and everybody watching at home, subscribed, unsubscribed, just passing through. Happy Father's Day. I hope you all get to enjoy it. I also want to steal a little something from the Mother's Day list video. Like I did kind of in the beginning, where I talk about the importance of this specific role, right? The previous, the Mother's Day list, it was what the mother means to the children. And for this instance, I want to discuss how important is the father to various children. I will speak first as a son with a father and what he has meant to me. Simply put, without spoiling my entire list, my dad has been a model citizen for me and my upbringing, who I want to be, what I want to emulate, what I want to take inspiration from and build upon for future generations to become better. My dad I've lived, not vicariously, but I have followed in my dad's footsteps. I've emulated his behaviors and interests, and try to become a version of myself that it builds on that, right? Pyramids, it's a base, and it's working its way up to the top the very tippy top, and everything that my dad has been a foundation for who I would become. And I'm grateful. He's shown me love. He's shown me tough love at times, but he's shown me love, uh, and a certain level of seriousness, how to carry myself as a human being, and that's all very important aspects of a dad. He's also been a provider, and shown me the way of putting family first by putting work and financials first, making sure that there's food on the table, making sure that the bills are paid, and seeing that, having that ever present in my life has been the North Star, so to speak, for my journey into becoming a dad. Now, while I am not a daughter, I knowing people, witnessing daughters with strong dads. Dads are the bar. Dads are the standard for what daughters seek in a romantic partner. The love that a father gives his daughter, the self-respect, and how to carry yourself, and so much more. These are all things that a daughter can pull from a father, a good father, a great father, and it's crucial. It is absolutely crucial. Just as crucial as it is for a mother to be in the home and active in there, it is ever important for a dad to be there as well. They work together. They function well together, and a family is not really a family if one is out of the picture. So that's why it's important to, if you're in the position of being a parent, not that I'm one to preach or anything, but it's important to be ever active in your children's lives, because who knows what your absence could do to them. So I don't want to spoil too much, as I've already mentioned, because I'm going to talk a plethora about my dad in this list in today's episode. But he has been hugely inspirational for me as a father, and what he brought to the table, and hearing stories over the years about from friends, from people that I know, of the fathers that they have in their own lives. I realize how privileged and in most cases very spoiled I am to have as great of a dad as I do. He was so involved in my life, and that has left it's left a mark on me. This is what I want to be for my own son. I want to be there. I want to be active. I want to be there for every little thing that he does. I grew up with that. It was natural to me. My dad was there every step of the way, and it is literally it's easy for me to do this for my own kid. Being a dad has been everything that I've ever wanted. I've wanted to be a dad for so long, so now that I have the opportunity to do it, I cherish it. I embrace it. I enjoy every second of it. I want to be involved. I want to be there, and even when times are tough, I had a moment today where I was it was just nonstop, and he was getting a little fussy, and it mostly just been me and him for the day. And I needed just a little break, just a couple hours to myself to really realize, to kind of calm down and get myself mentally situated. But I'm like, this is what I wanted. This is what I asked for. I asked to be a dad. I wanted to be a dad. I still want to be an active dad. And yeah, fatherhood has been great to me, and it's been far better than I could ever envision it would. I love my son to death. I love that I get to wear this hat all of the time. It is literally the greatest job. I could have mentioned last week that in the childhood dream jobs of being a dad, it necessarily wouldn't have fit what I was going for, but being a dad has been the ultimate dream job, and I would not change it for the world. All right, lessons from the list. We have several. Yeah. All right, lessons from the list. We have several here. First and foremost, if you have a great dad in your life, celebrate them. Celebrate them. Put them on a pedestal. And I will say this, like I did for Mother's Day. It's easy to do it once a year for a Hallmark holiday. Do it all the time. Do it all the time. And even if they're not like your biological dad, if they are a father-like figure to you, celebrate them and let them know it. You have to tell these people these things. I don't get compliments often as a dad. I don't. And so when I do, it's rare. It's surprising. It's shocks you sometimes when somebody tells you, "Hey, you're doing a really good job." I can't tell you how happy it makes me when I get the rare compliments about how good of a job I'm doing, and it warms my cold black heart, so to speak. But you know, I like to think that I am. I like to think that I am. I haven't heard from Bennett yet. The way he smiles at me when I come home from days from being away, it tells me that I'm doing something right. That my son looks forward to seeing me. But I know how good that feels, and I know that telling people those kind words, those kind remarks, and showing love and appreciation, how much it can mean to them. And don't wait till it's too late to tell somebody that you love and appreciate them. Seriously, tell them. If somebody's doing a great job of being a parent or anything in this world, don't hesitate to tell them. And like it's especially hard too because like the measurement of a dad is so weird. Like it's so weird. There's like a low bar and a high bar. And the low bar is that, I don't have statistics in front of me, but there is a obscenely high amount of single parent homes where it's, again, I don't know exactly the number, but a lot of dads are out of the picture. The old cliche, hey, I'm going for a pack of cigarettes and then not coming back. It rings true, and it's sad. I always see like this special emphasis on, the dads taking their kids to school. And I'm just like, is it really that difficult? Like, is this really something that needs to be addressed? But apparently it does. Now that I'm in the dad sphere, I'm seeing and hearing things. Like people have told me or told people around me that they're amazed that I want to be left alone with my kid. Like I have no trouble being left alone with my kid, especially in the those early first few months when I had no idea what I was doing, but I wanted to do it. And people were blown away. I'm like, wow. Again, this is like nothing. This is like breathing air for me. This is natural for me. So the bar is low in that regard, but it's also very high in the pressure to not just be there. All right, because that's a low bar in my opinion. Just being there is a low bar for any parent figure, but in this video's case, a dad. But the pressure to deliver and provide and protect, that is always high. We live in a very expensive time, and job market is not the greatest. And I worry all of the time, even though I have a pretty solid job, despite me complaining about it from time to time. Everybody does that. I realize how important it is to providing and protecting, putting a roof over my kid's head and making sure he has enough food to eat, right? Amongst other amenities. The bar is high in that regard. Am I doing enough to do this? Am I challenging myself enough to provide for my kid? Am I stepping outside of my comfort zone to have this better life? Or am I spending too much time away? That's always something that I've always worried about. Yes, I can spend tons of time at work or pick up a second job to make ends meet, but but I'm losing valuable minutes and hours and just time in general with my kid. So there's a lot of pressure. I feel it all the time, but I think it's, as a dad, uh, it's it weighs on you. So I and as a dad, it really weighs on you. So it's heavy, it's hard, and but it's an important balance that we really have to make as fathers, and for people who are witnessing fathers go through this mental struggle. Uh, please, please give them words of encouragement and make them feel special. All right, here are the top 10 reasons why I love my dad. And I'm really, really excited to talk about this and tell the world how wonderful of a father that I have had, that I've been able to experience. And I really hope that you all have a dad or dad-like figure in your life that you feel this way about them as well. Uh, Feel free, of course, to mention them in the comments. All right, they are more than welcome. I love to hear when people, eh, I mean, any feedback really in any of the lists that we post, but especially too to just hear and to know that I'm not the only one out there that has a great dad. Uh, that brings warm feelings to my soul. And I really hope people do that. And if there's information that's way too private that you don't want to put out there and leave for the YouTube vultures that are just waiting around and want to troll somebody, feel free to email me at eatsleeplistpod@gmail.com. That email is listed in the description of every episode that we post, of every video that we post. So please feel free to send it that way. So, all right, let's get to it. My number 10. My love of video games stems from my father. And while that may not seem like a very, very exciting thing to kick a top 10 reasons I love my dad list with, video games has been a core foundation to our relationship. There's a photo of me with my dad in that mobile home that I mentioned in the Toys That Made Us list, of me sitting on my dad's lap while he is playing against my Uncle Rich in a game of Atari basketball in our living room back in the day. And that was and I was just enamored. My eyes were fixed on what was going on. And even though I didn't really know what was going on at the time, video games became this excellent bonding experience between me and my dad. Growing up, I had every console that I could have asked for. I started off with I had a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, a Sega Genesis, and eventually became a PS1 and a PS2, and we stayed mostly PlayStation. But throughout all of that, we played video games together, and that was an important thing. That was like a nice way for us to kind of sit and just relax together. Hey, pop in this Spider-Man video game where we can play two players side by side, or I'm feeling a wrestling game today, or let's pop in. Madden became a very big thing for us. I remember every year for the Super Bowl we used to do a head-to-head Madden matchup, and he used to spank me. It was bad how one-sided our matchups were. He used to give me all the time, and then finally I got him in 2017, and I've only lost him a few times since. But that love of video games has been just so integral to us. Like it's fun for me. I look forward to sitting on a couch with my dad and sharing game time with him. And I've also mentioned, too, how back in the day he used to take me to the arcades, and we used to go there at the Summit Park Mall, old Aladdin's Castle, and had many fond memories there. So that being around video games with my dad, it is not only just him, but with sharing with my brother, which I have a fun memory. I should bring that up. there's a holiday from school that we all had off. It was a Monday, and my dad went to Blockbuster and rented a Ninja Turtle game for the PlayStation 2, which was you could do up to 4 players. And me, my brother, and my dad played this game like for 6 or 7 hours, and that was our day. And I was like, oh my god, this is the best. And it was a ton of fun. Like I had so much fun sitting around playing video games with my dad, and I've done this with my uncle Rich and my cousin Nico and so many others. But just these video game gatherings and whatnot. But just all surrounded by my dad and his willingness to bring it. It's actually funny when I tell people that my dad plays video games. People, especially back in high school, they're like, "What? Your dad plays games?" Yeah, my dad plays games. He grew up in the prime video game era, the arcade era, the Atari era. So he's carried that love over. He's still playing. He's got a PS5. I don't have a PS5. He has a PS5, and he's still going strong. So that is my number 10. The love of video games. Number 9, he passed down another love for me as well, and that's comic books and comic book characters. I remember from an early age the influence of superheroes, Batman, Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Hulk, Superman, Justice League, all of these characters that have been important. Another pillar of our relationships, I would dare so say. All the toys that he had gotten for me as a kid, a lot of them superhero based, and it led to a lot of fun times, which I have talked about on this show and other videos, and I will be talking about a little bit more as we get to the end of this list. There's that. There's the comic books. All right. I still remember my dad when he took me for my very first comic book. And it was 2 books, actually. We went to House of Fantasy in 1998. He used to take me there pretty regularly, and I mentioned House of Fantasy on the Closed Down Businesses list. And he took me there, and we picked up 2 books. All right. One of them I have listed. I still remember the issue number. It was June of 1998. I found the cover for it. I'll pop it up. Yeah, I'm doing it that way now. I'm putting images up on that side of the screen now. But I still remember it. Amazing Spider-Man number 437. It featured Cinch from Generation X, and the main villain was Plant Man, and the title of the book was I Monster, because Spider-Man was going through that 6-arm deal where he was becoming an actual physical monster, like a giant spider thing. At times, I remember that, and then there was an Avengers comic book too. I could not find that one. I probably could have looked a little bit harder for it, but I remember going for that. And I've talked about my dad's massive collection of comic books. He grew up in a day and age when they were dirt cheap, 25, 50 cents, $1 at some point. Just really, really affordable to have. And he passed that love of it down for me. I have boxes upon boxes of comic books sitting in a storage unit currently, and I can't wait to pass down the love of comic books and comic book characters to my kid. In fact, when every single Marvel movie comes out, I see it multiple times over because I want to go see it as soon as it comes out, but I also want to go see it with my dad because I want to see his reaction to seeing these characters that he bestowed upon me as a child and seeing them in live action and him following the stories. So that is my number 9, the love of comic books. Number 8, a lot of just general personality stuff comes from him. Where there's a lot of emotional, I get a lot of my emotional stuff from my mom's side. My dad, there's a lot of other behavioral traits that I get. His sense of humor, which has been good and bad, I will say. His sense of humor, I've definitely tried to emulate, and I guess emanate kind of works, but it's served me well and got me in trouble in some instances. His laugh, is gasping for air laugh that he has. I have it. I do it sometimes on the show. What a weirdo. I make myself laugh. I guess that's what a cynical human being I am. But I emulate my dad's laugh. I remember developing that laugh. I remember the first time I tried that laugh, and my mom's like, "Oh God, you're laughing like your dad," and it was in the kitchen, and I was in like I was like first or second grade, and it just became my laugh, this gasping for air laugh. But in us, I like to make my dad laugh just to hear it. Sometimes I really do. I try to be humorous around him and get him to laugh because it is a very contagious laugh. But there's also a lot of other personality traits too, that I've adopted from him. The way he carries himself, he's actually pretty chill. He's pretty stoic, and even though I can get worked up in a heartbeat, there's also a level of just kind of whatever, man, vibes that I get to. There's certain tranquility and peace that he gave, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in some of these other depictions too. But so yeah, that's my number 8. A lot of my personality comes from my dad. Number 7, it's the support for my son and wanting to be involved. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I didn't get a whole heck of a lot of that from my grandparents. All right, I didn't get a whole heck of a lot of that. And it's not a knock. It's the way they are, and it is what it is. Different generation. Even though I will say my dad's dad was a lot more involved in my life, and that's why I gave him credit in this list at the top of the show, because he would take me out, go for canoe rides and hang out and all sorts of stuff. But my dad, it's exciting to me to see my dad with my son. And see him kind of like, it's like watching him play with me when I was younger from a third person kind of like perspective. It's like, it's a delight to watch this. And I'm glad that it's this generational thing that it's carrying on. And I really do. I love that my dad, like, he can't wait to retire to spend more time with my kid. He's there for everything and anything. He's him, like my mom, are super supportive. If we needed to watch them, if we need them to watch my kid, they are there, ready, willing, and able. And they're there every Saturday morning. Even I work Saturdays just to kind of make ends meet, and they are there bright and early, ready to go and ready to do whatever it takes. So yeah. Support for my son and wanting to be involved is my number 7. Number six. So this is multiple. This is kind of a couple moments wrapped into one. But every single trip that I've taken to Indianapolis that has had my dad involved. So the first one in 2018, the one in 2019, which is probably the best example of my dad. And 2023 was also really, really cool. But firstly, 2018. I've talked about this ad nauseum on this show plenty times over. My dad was one of the 3 other people that was willing to go with me to Indianapolis. And I was asking my groomsmen, I was asking general friends, and my dad wanted to go. He was interested, intrigued, and I was glad that my first time in Indianapolis was with him and 2 other great individuals. 2023 was really cool. This is where I told everybody who went with me that I was going to be a dad, even though I hadn't publicly announced it. I was basically treating this as, hey, this might be my last trip to Indy for a very long time, and yeah, 2023 was a special one. My Uncle Rich got to go, and my friend Jack and Dickie and Tank, and another great dad who I mentioned at the top of the show, Brandon. We all went together and had the best time, and I was so glad that we got to share that. But 2019 one stands out to me a lot, and I don't remember if I touched on this on the vacation episode, but there was, like, I was supposed to go with a work friend. We had made plans for it. He was ready to go. I booked the hotel, And something came up and he wanted to leave a day later. And I go, man, I'm not losing this hotel at this price. I'm sorry, we can't do this. And so I was asking around. I was ready to go to Indianapolis on my own. I was asking friends. I was asking, uh, uh, yeah, I was asking friends, and then I was like, why don't I just ask my dad? Like it's this should be a no brainer here. And I did, and I don't remember if he was off of work or he might have happened to be off of work, or he took a Friday and a Monday off, but he's like, let's go. And in within a week's notice, he wanted to go to Indianapolis, a 9-hour drive with me, and I didn't make him pay for the ticket. I don't believe. I already had everything all set up and booked up, and this was actually a tough year because this was the year that I thought I was going to be going to watch Andrew Luck play, but he retired a couple weeks before the season, so we ended up watching Jacoby Brissett with the Colts go beat the Texans in Houston, and it was or not in Houston, but against Houston in Indy. They had the roof open. This is the only time I've been to a Colts game, and the roof was open. And it was just so special just to have that one-on-one time with my dad, and that's why the trip stands out so much to me. We on a whim we had a lot of fun. We made do, and we had a great time. So that's my number 6 is basically every trip to Indianapolis. He also came with me to Cleveland too, and suffered with me there in 2020. We watched the Colts play the Browns in Cleveland, and he was there with me for that. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's my number 6. Number 5, it was trying new things. My dad once told me while we were in Orlando, Disney, Universal, one of those things. He once mentioned that he didn't. That the only reason why he went on some of these very intimidating rides that we were going on was because he wanted us to go on and try it out. I had a big fear of upside down roller coasters. Hated them. Absolutely hated them, and it took me a long time to get used to them. I don't know if I can handle it now. It's been a long time since I've been on a roller coaster of that magnitude, but uh, but he did it. The Universal Islands of Adventure, the Incredible Hulk ride, which is a lot of upside downness on it. Aerosmith. I think that was the Aerosmith ride was the first one I ever did upside down. That or Space Mountain. The Space Mountain go upside down? I don't know, but it was crazy because you couldn't see it, so you barely recognized or felt it. But my dad mentioned that, and it's been that way for a lot of things. Trying new things has been like that's my dad's another expression of his love. He was willing to put himself out there and put himself in uncomfortable situations so that we would feel comfortable and willing to try it. And I always appreciated that, being fearless with life experiences, going to see new and in different things, trying new foods, right? Just try it. He was always very forward-minded in that regard, and I'm pretty conservative when it comes to experiencing new things like that. My dad has really helped me get out of my comfort zone, but when it comes to video games, I play what I know, and I don't get much outside of that. My dad's always trying new games and stuff, and he has a much bigger video game library than I ever will because he's willing to go out and try new things. I stick with what I know, like TV shows. He's always trying new stuff. I have 2 or 3, and usually if it's not Marvel or Star Wars related, I'm not gonna watch it. Usually 9 times out of 10. So. That's the difference, but my dad's fearlessness of trying new things has stuck with me, and even though I'm not as adventurous as maybe he is, I'm still willing and able to try and spice up my life. So that's my number 5. Number 4. This is a moment that I will never ever forget. So back in 2003, it was November of 2003. This is the peak of me watching wrestling, I would dare so say. I just came back to watching it in June or July. But I was a big SmackDown guy. SmackDown was coming to town. They taped on Tuesdays, and they aired on Thursdays. and they were coming to Buffalo, New York, HSBC Arena, I believe it was at that time, and I was like, I was depressed, like not really depressed, but I was depressed that I didn't have tickets to go see wrestling. Like all my friends at school in middle school were talking about it. Hey, we're going to the wrestling show. Are you going? No, no, we're not. I couldn't find tickets or whatever it was. And I remember coming home from school that day, just still is like as it was inching closer and closer to the hour, I was just more and more depressed because I wasn't going to be able to go. And I knew that everybody was going to be at school the next day with new T-shirts and whatnot. But so I get home, and then my dad gets home, and he brought up that he's asked. He goes, "Yeah, is wrestling coming to town tonight?" I go, "Yeah." And he pulled out this envelope, and it has 3 tickets to go see WWE SmackDown at HSBC Arena. And I'm like, my jaw dropped. Like, I'm like, oh my god, like what? Like I couldn't believe it. Like I don't get surprises like that often, so I don't know how to react to it. But I remember just being super over the top excited for this, and so I called my friend Brandon, who ended up going with me. We picked him up and then we went, but it was crazy because it was short. It was like on a whim, like bam. One moment I think I'm not going, and then a couple hours later I'm there. And I got these great tickets, and we went to go watch SmackDown. And it was cool. It was the old Big Fist Arena. It's the SmackDown Fist coming through the entrance stage. Got to watch John Cena wrestle Rey Mysterio there, and John Cena turned a good guy at this event at the end of the night in a main event between Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit against Matt Morgan, Nathan Jones, and Brock Lesnar. And there was also like a Vince McMahon kind of thing where he turned out the lights and cut this long, elaborate promo. And my buddy Brandon, I remember him yelling, "Dead man walking," and it because he was going, it was en route to Survivor Series where Vince McMahon was going to wrestle The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match. So many great memories from that. Like that was one of the best surprises ever, and that is why it's my number 4. Yeah, SmackDown tickets in 2003. Number 3. I wasn't much of a sports guy growing up, but my dad tried. He certainly tried. Baseball, football, basketball, bowling, and eventually high school sports, volleyball, wrestling, football again, track and field, cross country, all that stuff. My dad was super, super involved at the youth level, coaching, right? He coached my youth baseball teams. And usually I was really embarrassingly bad for it, to the point where I don't think he wanted to coach anymore just because of how much I pushed back on it. I didn't like. It wasn't that I didn't like baseball. It wasn't that I didn't like. I guess that I didn't like baseball, but I just didn't like the kids I was around. I was just very socially awkward. But looking back, like 30, 35, or not 35, 30, 25, 30 years, looking back in the past, I'm grateful that my dad was willing to put himself out there to coach, because his dad coached him, and his brothers, my uncles, and aunt back in the day. But wrestling was the big one. Wrestling was the big one because, both my parents went to stuff. My dad was at everything. All right. Faraway tournaments, right? There was the Webster Schroeder, Matthew Marino Invitational that we'd go to, and the varsity wrestling team would go to every November or early December. And my dad was there. He would actually volunteer. He would chaperone. And sorry, there's just a bug on the camera. That was weird. But he would volunteer. He would hop on the bus and go. Every dual match that we went to, he would hop on the bus and be a part of it. He would want to travel to it. He would wake up early in the off season, sometimes 4:30 in the morning, and we'd drive to the Southern Tier to go to Alden or some other tournament for me to wrestle. he would do that. Go to Ohio. He went with Ohio to me with me to Ohio one year, and the first match I landed right on my wrist. It was my freshman year. Smacked it up good. I think it might have been, it was like a sprain or something bad, but I'm just like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing. It was a rough trip, but he did it. Uh, Nationals in college. He drove 13, 14 hours to Des Moines, Iowa to watch me wrestle, and I still feel bad. I was so burned out from wrestling at that point. I couldn't wait to be done, but I feel bad that him, my uncle, and brother drove all that way out there. But he was there. He traveled with the team. He was a part of the team. Thousand Islands, all that stuff. He was there and involved, and he never overstepped his boundaries, which was always really neat. He never, you know, he was really great about it, and I'm glad that he was a part of all those adventures. So number 3 is involvement and travel in sports. Number 2, childhood playtime. All right, I mentioned this in the toys that made us list. All right, those epic toy wars that I used to have. My dad. So I don't have to divulge in it too much, but for those who never heard the story before, whether my dad, dad coming home from work, no matter what time, no matter what he had been through, he always made time for me. My time was his time, and he knew that, and I didn't have a neighborhood full of kids, so he was all I had until my brother was born and then eventually came of age. But, he'd come home from work, these factory jobs or construction jobs, and he would get on the floor and play toys. Hey, Dad, want to play Toy War? Yeah, let's do it. Hey, Dad, we want to play Marvel toys or DC toys or whatever, and he would do it. I think I mentioned in the Star Wars list that, I remember one of my earliest memories is him and me fighting with the Star Wars lightsabers, the Luke and Darth Vader lightsabers up in the attic with the lights out and the light up swords. But there was other stuff too, wrestling around and all that stuff. Like, he had no problem doing that. I never, ever had to beg him to do it. It was a simple ask, and he did it. Tired or not, he did it, and he made time, and I always love and appreciate that. So, childhood playtime is number 2, and number 1. He is one of the most dependable people in my life, not only as a dad, but as a friend. All right, I'm glad that me and my dad have this relationship now. Right, it went from the father-son dynamic, which it still is, deep down at its core, but now my dad is legitimately my best friend. Like, he's always there, and there's no. And the thing I extra love about my dad is that there's no weight to it. Like, he's not counting minutes. He just wants to be there, and it's peaceful. Movies, all right. He's always wanted to go see the movies with me. I remember going to see The Marine and one of the Live Free or Die Hard, and several other films. I always went to the movies with him. I needed somebody to go with, or because not everybody just didn't want to go. It wasn't easy for me to just call somebody up and go to the movies. My dad would do it. Sporting events. I talked about the Indianapolis trip, but there's been other times too. Bills games that we've gone to together. I mentioned the time in Cleveland, or the trip I made to the Pro Football Hall of Fame the first time. He was there and got to experience and be a part of that for me. And not even just the in-person stuff. Hey, Dad, do you want to watch football together? Okay. All right. Easy. A great studio memory I have is me and my dad sitting at the studio with my dog, Prince, and we watched the Colts versus Jaguars game and the 1 o'clock, games, and got to watch Matt Ryan hit Alec Pierce with a beautiful touchdown and give the Colts a awesome walk-off win. And then after that, we watched the Bills beat up on the Chiefs. We ate pizza, and then my dog laid in the pizza. Princey laid in the pizza boxes like a bed. It was when it was all empty, it was adorable. But there's that, sitting there I remember the radio call for Bills versus, for Andy Dalton, 4th and 12, knocking out the Ravens of the playoffs to help the Bills get in the playoffs. I remember the radio call, New Year's Eve 2017, that happening. Sitting with him for the Minneapolis Miracle. No doubt, they're always there. And that's my favorite part about my dad, is that he's literally just a phone call or a text away. Hey, you want to go do this? You want to go see this? You want to come over and just hang out, play some games, watch a movie? Yeah. Always ready, willing, and able. And that is that. So there it is, everybody. My top 10 reasons why I love my dad. Please share yours in the comments. I want to make connections. I hope that maybe something that I mentioned here is an attribute that you found in your fathers or a father-like figure. I really do hope that. So yeah, there it is. We'll be back on Friday for a nice little fun list. All right, they're always mostly fun lists. All right, I think we do a pretty good job of having fun for Fun List Friday. But thank you so much. And once again, to all the fathers that I mentioned or didn't mention, if you are a dad that spends any amount of time on this YouTube channel, if you have subscribed, if you have interacted with some of my interactive, that's not a word, interactive content, happy Father's Day to each and every single one of you. I hope it's special. I hope you get to do the things that you want to do. If you want to relax, I hope you get to relax. If you want to go on an adventure, I hope you get to go on an adventure. And if you want to go and have a great meal with your loved ones, I hope you get to enjoy that as well. So thank you so much. And till next time, do you even list?